But when two girls fought each other, you're like, someone's gonna die. They're pulling earrings out, they're pulling hair extensions out.
This is Whose Creek Is It?
The podcast where two sisters recap and pontificate about the show Dawson's Creek.
I'm Miranda, and I've seen the whole series at least 5 times.
And I'm Allison, and I'm watching this show for the very first time. Let's get started.
Season 1, Episode 8, titled Boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've took a break because of holidays.
Yes, but we are back on episode 8, which I feel like there's some statistic that like 95% of podcasts don't make it past 8 episodes, so we're really close.
Yeah, we're really close to being better than most people.
Yep, that's true. So close. But yeah, we are getting back on the wagon, the horse, whatever. Old West metaphor. But
Getting back on the dock.
yeah, back on the dock at the creek.
Okay, so the director is Michael Fields, and the writers, we have 3 of them this time. It's John Harmon Feldman, Dana Barada, and Charles Rosen, which I think Dana was probably in the pregnancy episode.
Yeah, that was the first woman writer.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm pretty sure there were probably some woman writers, they just didn't get a credit.
Yeah, there's like all these crazy rules around how credits work for TV and film. But this one's not about a baby. This one is about an ex-boyfriend coming back to town.
Mm-hmm. You know, all the boys just be crazy about Jen.
Apparently. And she's kind of quick-witted, but I'm not sure what else. She's blonde? I
Yeah.
don't know. But yeah, we start out in the same place we always do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dawson's flipping through channels in his room by himself and just is criticizing everything on. He does briefly flip over to, I guess, what's supposed to be porn, but it's blurry or you can't see the picture. So he's just like, well,
Yeah, it's like the adult video channel, and it just occurred to me as I was watching that, like, I feel like I've seen that in films and stuff, but it's like, so there was just a channel that just played nonstop porn on a loop?
he must have had a good cable package for that to.
Yeah, well, no, I think you have to pay to get it unscrambled.
Oh,
I think that's how it
that's
works.
it's like a teaser. Huh.
Yeah, or something. But if you're really in touch with like your auditory sense, maybe you don't need it. But yeah, they're sitting in bed and
Yeah, Joey comes in
oh, that's
and
right.
yeah, she's just like, I can't take this child anymore.
Because she now lives with a baby along with her sister and probably eventual brother-in-law.
Yeah. Which they mention a few times in the episode, but we never actually see Bodhi. I'm like, when Joey's knocking on the bathroom door, calling out to him, I'm like, Bodhi's not behind that door.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we don't need to write him any lines and we don't need to pay him, so we'll just allude to him.
Yes. Yeah, so Dawson offers Joey to like sleep over, which is fine, I guess.
Yeah, I was like, so everything's back to normal after that very emotional detention episode, where Joey has all these feelings that everyone can see that she's having all these feelings, but she can't say what they are.
Mhm. Well, I did kind of laugh about how she said that she's been like her grades are slipping and that she was caught in a pool of drool in European history. It's like that's my sister.
Yes, I did some sleeping in some classes. But the trick is if they call on you and you wake up and you give the right answer, the teacher, like, they just kind of have to sit with it because they're like, well, you know the answer. I had a chemistry teacher who he couldn't, on any given week, he couldn't decide if it was funny that I was falling asleep in my class or if it pissed him off.
I wish I was good enough at school to do that. That's, like, such a serve. These kids who are awake the whole time can't answer these questions.
I mean, I'm sure there were times where it didn't work out. I feel like I did that the most in my French class, which is always like first or second period.
So, Dawson is watching some old movie and complaining that there's no Gary Coopers, which I guess he was some nice, smart guy character.
Yeah, he essentially says, ugh, you can't just be a regular guy with no real talents or anything and still get the girl. Back in the 40s, you could be extremely mediocre and you still got the girl.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, a Gary Cooper type that's likable, but not too self-involved, smart, but not arrogant. And I'm like, are you talking about yourself?
I think he thinks he is. I mean, it just immediately reminds me of how, we're in this midst of so many men realizing that, like, yeah, when women aren't financially dependent on you, you have to be enjoyable to be around. You have to have something to offer.
Yeah, I don't know why men are so bothered by that. It's like, aren't you happy that people aren't with you purely because they financially have to?
Well, men are men are propagandized and brainwashed in their own way.
Mhm.
I remember how it ends now. That scene.
Yeah, like he's having this whole monologue complaining about how men aren't the way they used to be, and Joey falls asleep
Yeah,
to his
droning.
yeah.
And he's like, okay, well. And then we're into the theme song.
Yeah, we get to jump to Gale and Mitch in the kitchen, very awkwardly trying to be pleasant.
Yeah, just the kind of uncomfortable conversation you make when, like, it's just so jarring when two people who were or are close are making the kind of small talk you make with strangers. It's like this uncanny valley where it's all the visual cues and all the history tells you that this should be very natural, but the actual language and text being used is so stilted. And the one thing that I did note was, like, Gail sits down at breakfast to have a bowl of cereal, and she unwraps her silverware from a cloth napkin.
I did not notice that.
I just noticed it because I was like, okay, like, I understand that a lot of people do use cloth napkins. A, for breakfast on a weekday? B, for cereal?
Maybe they're just fancy.
Yeah, they must be just fancy, but I remember thinking, like, that's not making things any more casual or natural.
So they make it clear in that scene that they're, like, going to some kind of therapy,
Yep.
and they both want to talk to Dawson when he shows up. They're like, "Oh, thank God, Dawson's here. We can try to have a normal conversation because we neither of us hate him."
Yeah, yeah, you need that buffer. And, like, I think that happens in a lot of, like, family situations or, like, professional situations where you just, like, if we had one more person, it would just take so much pressure off. But Dawson's like, nope, gotta go, bye.
"No, I don't wanna be here." And Gail asks, Mitch a question twice, which I was kinda interested in this. She's like, "Oh, big meeting with the investors." Which I'm like, is it for his restaurant or does he have some kind of financial job?
I assumed it was for the restaurant. That's what I thought.
I think that's what it's supposed to be.
I mean, I hope. I hope Mitch at least has that going for him.
Yeah, but yeah, when Gail asks him again, he's not very nice about it. You already asked me that.
Yeah, just, Mitch, we gotta just play along. We're trying here, buddy. And yeah, and that's kind of the arc of Mitch in this episode is him, like, sort of trying, not trying at all, and then realizing, oh, I should probably try.
Yeah. So we cut to Pacey sitting on a bench, a public bench with some man who I guess is a drunk fisherman.
Yeah. Small town life.
Yeah, we don't know who he is. But he's Pacey's complaining that Cape Side is so dull, and right then, as he's complaining, some guy pulls up in a convertible, like a beat up, cool convertible.
Mm-hmm. And like Pacey thinks he almost hits him, and I was like, I feel like you were both at fault. You kind of just jumped into the street. He was maybe
Yeah.
going a little fast.
He's like, "What? My small town. I should be able to like cross the street without looking."
Sure, and then, they get into what seemed like a scene that went on longer than it needed to. The like, how do you get to the high school? Which, because I knew the title of this episode and had seen like the Netflix preview of the episode, the, like sentence long description, I was like, so this is the guy. But he's kind of a he looks like a person who has been dressed up to be from New York. He's wearing like a beat up leather jacket, and he's looks like 25 at least.
I
Uh,
I I wrote down 30,
yeah,
but
definitely too old for a 16-year-old Jen, and looks like a little beat up, but like not like he's really lived a hard life. Like he lives like a bum artist life, but his parents pay his rent. Like that's kind of the vibe.
Mhm. Yeah, and I'm just gonna go on the little path down the fact that we don't really have to ask people for directions anymore.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. And Pacey's like, "Do you want to write this down?" And he's like, "No, I'm smart. It's all up in here." But I actually had someone ask me like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago where the DMV was. And I was like, I know approximately where it is, but who memorizes where things are anymore? I'm like,
Yeah.
I can Google it for you.
Yeah, one of the adverse effects of technology is sort of the individualization is that as long as you have the ability to look it up or the ability to get on an app and pay someone to do something, then you are incentivized or expected not to rely on people. Like getting a ride to the airport, it used to be just kind of understood that you get a friend to drive you, and now it's like if you're asking, it's because there's the implicit like, well, could you just spend the 25 bucks on an Uber? And we do that with, all kinds of stuff now. We're using technology to not rely on each other face to face, which
Mhm.
I am very guilty of using, but it definitely has adverse effects.
Yeah. I was wondering, I'm like, am I getting kidnapped? Is that why this guy pulled over to ask me where something was? And I was like probably in my late 20s still, so I'm like, probably not getting kidnapped.
Yeah. You never know, but like if you didn't get out of the car and he's not motioning for you to get in, you're
Probably
probably okay.
fine. But
Yeah.
yeah, the fear of talking to strangers, like, why do you want something from me?
Yeah, which we've been in a descent to conservatism and individualism since Reagan, but it's definitely expedited by this idea that you can pay for or look up anything instead of actually asking or relying on another person.
Yeah. Pacey does try to get an Uber to the high school with the guy.
Yeah,
He's
he's
like, "You
like,
could just drive me there."
yeah. And the guy's like, "Oh, with my dangerous driving?" But not like in that snarky of a way, like just he had the delivery of that line of someone who doesn't have a care in the world.
Yeah. And let's see, we then go to Joey, like, scrambling to get ready at her house with Bessie, who's also getting ready for work, and, yeah, that's when she calls out to Bodhi in the bathroom, and I'm like, "It's just the 2 of them."
Yeah, the two of them are getting ready next to like the baby bassinet.
Yeah. Apparently, there's one mirror. Bessie says, "Oh, we just have to get through this adjustment period."
Yeah.
And Joey's like, "For how long?" 2, 3 years max, which I'm like, "No, then the kid can, like, move around on their own."
Yeah. Yeah, for real. Although I have a friend who recently had a baby, and like I've had other friends who've done this, but I don't know, it was just hitting home that like you cannot manage anything else because newborns are helpless. You can't go 2 hours without having to do something for them.
Yeah, I think you usually have to feed them like every 4 hours or something.
Yeah, and and everything is so careful because their bones aren't connected and they can't support their own head, and it's just very like those first couple months are seem wild, and Joey doesn't really need another source of stress in her life.
No. But, yeah, we then get to see Joey having Dawson help her to study Spanish, which she's also, like, using to ask him about how his relationship with Jen is going.
Yeah, and
Like,
then I
"Hey, let's just ignore what happened in the last episode."
yeah, and then I was trying to remember where they left off, and it was like they Jen and Dawson left off in a pretty good place.
Mhm.
And then Jen walks up.
Yeah. Yeah, Jen walks up and Dawson gets to talk to her. Apparently, they're making plans to go bowling later.
Hmm.
But behind Dawson, her ex-boyfriend appears in the hall. We learn that his name is Billy.
Oh, I'm glad
And
you remembered because I did not.
I did have to look up the other guy we'll get to in a minute, who's
Hmm.
been in episodes prior.
Yeah.
But yeah, Billy, who kind of, I guess, convinces her to ditch because I need to talk to you and I came all this way, so you have to come talk to me.
Yeah, this whole episode was just Jen, just tell him no, just shut him down, but she can't seem to do it. And like there could be a lot of reasons for that. One of which is just that dramatically they need him to stick around for this episode to make sense. But it was also just like, girl, at a certain point you have to like set a boundary and hold it. But she's also
Yeah,
16 in 1999.
yeah. She has not been taught that she doesn't owe ex-boyfriends anything.
Yeah, yeah, and this might be a couple scenes later, but I remember writing down like when you're young and you think that loyalty should just be blind. Like you think that being loyal means never saying no. But it's like, no, you have to. Relationships are like a two-way street in a contract. And if they're not upholding the contract, you don't have to do anything, Jen.
Mhm.
And he's like, why don't you, can I just take you for a ride? Just drive you in my car. But she pushes back for a while.
Yeah, and all this time Dawson is watching. I know Joey also, like, watched for a little bit to be like, "Who is that guy? Who is that much older guy who is here in the high school that Jen seems to know?"
Yeah, with his 5 o'clock shadow and his chest hair coming out of his Hawaiian shirt or whatever it was.
Dawson has to just watch her leave with that random man, and he turns around to, encounter Cliff, who was the guy I was like, "Shoot, what is his name?"
Cliff, the football hero who in the film class was basically making the movie about himself,
Mhm.
but also treated Jen pretty well at the dance, so isn't a complete jerk.
Yeah. He, tells Dawson to, like, let Jen know that he's having a party, and then he's kinda like, "Well, I guess you can come too."
Yeah, yeah. I was like, oh, come on, Cliff, you gotta recover here, man. You just gotta be like, you and Jen should both come to the party, but it's just such an afterthought.
Yeah, yeah, and then also, like, apparently he was not aware that they are somewhat a pair, somewhat a couple, because he's like, "Hey, do you know if Jen has a boyfriend?"
Hmm.
Dawson has to be like, "Yes, it is me."
Tis I. And he's like, oh, oh, good for you.
Mhm.
So, and we all already know that Dawson is rather insecure about his place in this relationship.
Yeah, he's like, "I don't know why this pretty girl spends time with me."
Yeah, I don't know why either, man, but
Yeah. And we hop back to Mitch and Gale, who are, well, Gale's trying to find a couple activity for them to do because apparently their therapist recommended that they have new experiences together, and suggests like a bunch of silly things, but scuba diving, I guess, is what she wants to go with, and asks Mitch, "Are you cool with that idea?" And Mitch is like complaining about how expensive it'll be, but he's like, "Well, you're the breadwinner, so it's
Ooh.
not really my call." And I'm like,
Urgh.
"So you're insecure about that?" Because I'm like, "I don't know why you'd be mad that she's
Yeah.
contributing more."
Yeah. I mean, yeah, when you're in that kind of fight infidelity situation, I'm sure all kinds of things start to matter in ways that they didn't. But I just wrote down like, really, Mitch? No, no, this is not
Yeah.
helping.
Yeah, and the his suggestion on like, "Well, maybe we should try swinging," or yeah,
Oh.
doing something you would, be more familiar with.
Oh, and I was just like, buddy, you. Yeah, this was the point at which I was like, oh, you are actively sabotaging any kind of reconciliation, which he has every right to be upset and be angry, but it just seems like they're not on the same page of where they're at. Like she has tried to move into this like repairing the relationship stage and he is clearly not there yet.
Mhm,
And it sort of seems like you have to, I mean, it is her job to just keep trying, but
mhm,
that is a tough situation where you're like, how do you keep trying when clearly this person is just still in the I hate you stage?
mhm. Yeah, it's clear that Gail is really trying to smooth things over as quickly as she can, and it's like, "No, you're just gonna have to
No, this is
wait."
yeah, this is not going to be a quick fix, honey.
So, we get to see Jen and Billy talking, and Jen is asking Billy to leave, which, yeah, you should just leave. Um,
Yeah, that's a great instinct. Good job, Jen. Follow that.
yeah, but then her boyfriend's like, "Well, I drove all this way, and I'm tired, and I can't afford a hotel." Basically puts it on her to find a place for him to stay, which I'm like, "Dude, you have a car."
Yeah. Also, she just accepts that responsibility. She's just
Yeah.
like, sure, I guess this is my job now. It's like, oh, Jen, no, this is not your job. You can just choose to be done with this. I mean, we
Mhm.
don't know what I don't know what other backstory there might be, but it's just like, girl, you don't have to keep doing this. Just send him away. And then who should walk up?
Yep, Dawson, 'cause he's like, "I'm not gonna leave her alone with this guy at all. I'm gonna butt in everywhere."
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Jen is like, "Can you please let my ex-boyfriend stay over at your house?"
Like, Jen, that is not the solution. That is not. It's just a bad idea for so many reasons. Yeah.
Dawson tries to fight her on it. Like, "No, why would I take this guy in, and
Yeah.
who is this guy?" And she's like, "Oh, I told you about Billy." And he's like, "He's the guy."
Oh, yeah, getting caught in her parents' bed.
Mhm.
But then he relents.
Because he's a quote unquote "nice guy."
Yeah, he's a Gary Cooper type.
So we see him and Billy in Dawson's room as if they are going to share the room together, and I'm like, "I'm pretty sure Dawson's house is pretty big. I know he has a couch.
Mm-hmm.
Why is he in your room at all?"
And he lays down on Dawson's bed, and I'm just like, this guy is trying to get hit.
Yeah, I know, but Dawson's not the kind to punch.
Yeah, and he can tell.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he also picks up his ET doll, and Dawson's like, "It's a collector's item."
Yeah, it's not a doll, it's an action figure.
And Billy is like, I guess he plays it off as a joke where he says, like, he's not gonna leave until Jen comes back to him,
Mm.
and, like, basically says in so many words, like, "What are you gonna do about it?"
Yeah, that's like there's just so many moments in this episode where I'm just like, Someone just needs to say no. But then the episode would be 8 minutes long.
Yeah, or if Dawson could just throw a punch, that would also maybe move it along. I
Yeah,
don't
just
know.
let's just move this forward.
And so after dealing with this whole situation with the ex who's clearly like trying to get to him and make him feel more insecure, he runs over to Joey's house and is like, "This guy is mean and he's trying to take my girlfriend." And Joey's
Yeah.
like, "Buddy, these are not original problems." Like, I mean, sure, having her ex-boyfriend come unannounced from like 4 hours away is maybe not like it's pretty unique, but I mean, exes trying to get their ex back is not something new. Being insecure
Yeah.
about your teenage relationship is not something new.
Yeah, and so she talks him down pretty quickly.
Mhm. One of the things that Dawson's like, "I feel so lame for asking her to go bowling." And Joey's like, "Bowling's always lame."
Which disagree, but like you're 15 or 16, like there's not a whole lot else you're going to do in a small town.
Mhm. And this kind of carries into a conversation not just about him and Jen, but, like, also is like, the subtext is about his parents and being around to experience their relationship falling apart.
Yeah. And she's like, "So are we talking about you or your dad?" And I was really she was like no, the way she puts it is like, "Are we talking about the father or the son?" And I was just waiting for a Holy Ghost reference, and it never came.
Somehow, all he needs to hear is, "It's gonna be fine," because that's basically all she gives him.
Yeah, she's like, "It's going to be all right, buddy." And he's like, "Thanks."
It's like, "Thanks. Alright, now that I've gotten what I needed. Bye."
Okay, bye. This wasn't the strongest writing in this episode.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to what happens in the end, but I think they were just like, "We need a reason to create conflict between Dawson and Jen to the point that it's
Yeah.
gonna either permanently ruin their relationship or put it on hiatus."
Yes.
Yeah. So, I think it was also probably for, like, the promos of the episode. It's like, "Jen's ex-boyfriend is coming to town, and,
Whoa.
oh, what's gonna happen? Is she just gonna run off with him?"
Yeah. And where's Grams?
Yeah, she's also not there.
Yeah, they didn't want to pay her for this episode.
Let's see, Jen thanks Dawson, right, for kind of working with her on this whole situation with her ex,
Hmm.
and Dawson's not really being nice about it. He's like, "Well, are you over him? Like, why are you being this loyal to him, and why should I care and all this?" And she does like, kinda hesitate about being over him and is like, "Well, we never had closure."
Oh my god, yeah. It's like, girl, even if you have doubts in your mind, clearly the right thing to do right now is to say, no, it's over. Affirm it. Sometimes when you
Yeah.
say something, it becomes true.
Yeah. Sometimes lies are good if you know you can get to that lie as a truth.
Yeah, just be a little, I need Jen to be more decisive.
Yeah, yeah. And, yeah, Jen kind of defends him in terms of like, "Well, he's, like, one of the only ones that respected me and treated
Yeah.
me well," and I'm like, "Girl, he doesn't seem like it if this is your bar."
And no, a guy who shows up unannounced at your new school without contacting you and then refuses to leave is not someone who respects you.
Mm-mm. But yeah, then Dawson's like, "Well, I respect you," which we'll see that that's not really true. Uh,
Hmm.
but yeah, Dawson has no chill. She's like, "Oh, well, if the situation was reversed," and he's like, "Well, it can't be because you're my first girlfriend. I don't have an ex-girlfriend."
Yeah. It was just like, God, this is so much drama for 15, 16-year-olds.
I know you and I were not the dramatic types,
Yeah,
but,
we were.
like
Yeah, I guess it's. I guess yeah. Just I with so many years of hindsight, you're just like, oh my god. But everything, when you're that age, everything is the biggest thing in the world.
mhm,
If I could say anything to most high schoolers, I would say whatever is. It probably doesn't matter. It won't matter in 5 years.
yeah. You're not even gonna talk to any of these people, and a lot of these people are gonna have no control over the future of your life once you're out of here.
Yeah, it's so big to them right now.
Mhm. But I know that there were teenagers who were going through drama like this because I don't know if you remember, but there were a handful of times I saw like physical fights in high school.
Oh yeah. I don't think I ever really knew what they were about though. I was never like close enough to the
Yeah.
people. But like yeah, I know what you mean where like two people, start a fight and then quickly there's this big ring of people around them.
Yeah. And I just remember the fights with boys were always really silly looking. It would just turn into a slap fight. But when two girls fought each other, you're like, someone's gonna die. They're
I'm fully
pulling earrings out, they're pulling hair extensions out. That actually happened one time.
Oh my gosh. And we lived in a quote unquote nice school district.
It's just like, wow, I think I have big problems, but I have never felt the need to physically hurt a person.
I've never executed that need, that urge.
Yeah, so we get to see Joey coming to the video store that Pacey is, working the shift for at that time.
Mhm.
Which I wonder if that was kind of intentional. I mean, I know she explains that she needs to get this movie, The English Patient, which I have never seen.
I haven't seen it, but I know it's supposed to be really sad.
Yeah, so she goes there because apparently that movie puts the baby to sleep. So she's
Yeah. Or put the baby to sleep once and she's assuming a pattern because she needs one.
yeah, Pacey relents and gets her the video, but he's like, "You don't need a video store, you need a pharmacy." And I'm like, "For the baby or for her?"
Yeah. Well, that's sort of where he leads into being like, you're crazy because you love Dawson.
Yeah, well, she instigates it where she's like, "By the way, I heard Gen X is in town. Like,
Oh
what do you
yeah.
think about that? Do you have more information than I do?" But yeah, Pacey's like, "I know exactly why you're asking.
Mhm.
Like, don't act like you're just innocently wanting to talk gossip."
Yeah. This is Pacey's moment. This is his episode to be the voice of reason.
Yeah, which is never a good sign. But yeah, he's like, "You have a raging hormonal obsession with Dawson," and she is so offended.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we get to see the aftermath of Mitch and Gale going to a scuba class, and they're fighting about, I guess, how it didn't go well. Dawson is hearing all of it from his bedroom,
Mhm.
and Gale is saying Mitch is not trying.
Mm.
Which is all we really get out of that is just Dawson's like, "I'm gonna close the door because I don't like hearing."
Yeah, when you're like hearing stuff in the household that like not only isn't meant for you, but is like makes you feel terrible.
Yeah, this isn't gonna help me.
Yeah, and this seems like possibly the first time it's ever happened to Dawson.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
I'm like, "Wait, you've never had to hide from your parents, like, conflicts or emotions? That's crazy."
you made it a long way, Dawson.
And then we get to go to Joey at work, which, I mean, we've seen her a little bit at work, but yeah, work seems like a lot.
I wrote down, this is what waitressing feels like. I think it's a scene where like it comes goes to her trying to wait on this woman who doesn't know what she wants, and you can see that there's a bunch of tables in the background and there's a bunch of stuff going on, and Joey's like not able to shield her annoyance at like, I have so much to do, I cannot stand here waiting for you.
Yeah.
And then she's like repeating things to herself, like a tartar sauce for table 6 or whatever. And it was just like, this is what waitressing feels like. And it's just that for hours every day.
Mhm. Can you tell the short funny story of you at the restaurant when you maybe weren't the best waitress?
There are several stories in which I was not the best. Every single day I was not the best waitress. But for listeners, I worked after college. I waited tables for a couple of years in a chain restaurant, and I'm not built for it. It forces you to confront people trying to figure out what people's expectations are of you, because one table might want you there every 3 minutes and want to hear your whole life story. Another table wants you to magically know what they want beforehand and then never see you again. You control nothing. The bar doesn't have your drinks ready. The kitchen won't give you a reasonable scoop of guacamole because the management is cracking down on portion sizes. And one of the computers doesn't work, so you can't print your bill. And then also, one of the tables brought their toddler, and then as they go out the door, you notice that there's a pile of napkins underneath the kid's seat, and they say she had an accident, meaning they let their toddler piss on the floor in your section, and then just threw some napkins on top of it. And that's just a day. Tip your servers.
I don't think you told me about that one.
See,
I was
which
I was
one?
referencing the time that people came and sat down in your section and you just did not register them.
Oh yeah, that was like maybe my first, maybe my second shift, and it was like a Friday or Saturday night. And I had, I swear, a 4 table section, which is like what they start you with. Uh but it was packed, and for whatever reason it just did not register that was my table. And I just didn't acknowledge it. I didn't do anything about it. And eventually they just left, but then they ran into a manager on the way out and let him know why they were leaving. Uh And it was really just on the whim of that manager that I did not get fired that night. I never did that again.
He was probably like, "Sorry, she's new. She's not built for this."
Yeah, clearly I was not emotionally and psychologically built to be a server, but I think what probably saved me is that there were multiple other people who should have noticed if a table's going ungreeted for that long. Like, there were two people in the same, like, at least two people in the same area that should have been like, why don't they have chips and salsa yet? So yeah, that was one of the early. I definitely could have been fired for that moments. I got my feet under me, but like, I'm not a person who's built for it. You need a level of like,
Social intuition.
you need social intuition. You need a lot of you need the ability to hold a lot of different tasks and timelines in your head, and you also need to be able to withstanding people not liking you or people being upset with you about things that are beyond your control. And that was not a skill I had
I don't have
at
it either.
stage. I mean, it's something I'm still working on. I'm much better about it now, but like, there is this implicit like judgment every time you wait a table, and you might wait 20 tables in a shift, and every single time you're trying to figure out what these people want emotionally and socially, along with what they want. And just, we'll get there, but waitressing nightmares are real. I had them for years. Some people are great. They're built for this. They can handle it. I am not a personality or a disposition who is built for it.
Mm-mm. Yeah, no, I mean, I've quit jobs because I was like, people are mad at me and I can't do anything about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry, the restaurant is packed and we only have one kitchen, and for some reason there's no tortillas. None of these things are things I control, but I'm the only person you're talking to, so I'm the one you're mad at.
Yeah. Yeah, and in our country, what makes it worse is that people are expected to tip. So then you kind of feel like you got graded at the end.
Yes, it feels like getting a report card every time. And but then once in a while you get a shock of reality that it has nothing to do with you. Like something went great and they tip you 0, or a table that you thought was awful, they tip you 25%.
Mhm.
And it's this weird situation of like you get a report card every 15, 20 minutes, but that might have just nothing to do with your performance or what you've done.
Mhm.
It's it was not for me. Yeah, early on I would psych myself up in my car before going into the shift, which is that's one strategy. I had a coworker who hotboxed himself in the car before every shift, so he was just high. He's probably not the only one that was high, but
That's the way to go.
yeah, he had it right.
I luckily never had to work at a restaurant. I did very minimal, like, entry level minimum wage work, and that was kind of on my own choice.
Yeah, Miranda like studied and then, got a job in her field straight out of college
And then I was like, "You know what'd be fun is working at music venues
on the
on the
side.
side."
Yeah.
I literally the toll and the drive time probably, took up most of the money I would make in one night.
Oh yeah.
I was like, "Why am I doing this? I don't know."
Yeah.
Character building.
Yeah, well, sitting at a desk doesn't really make you feel alive or like life is worth living. I don't know
Yeah.
why we all do it.
Yeah.
hmm But Joey's is waitressing.
Yeah, Joey's waitressing. She seems like she's about to have a mental breakdown. Yeah, Pacey shows up and asks for her to go to a party with him, which seems so unlike him. He eventually admits, like, well, Dawson's going to be there alone. And then
Mm.
I'm like, well, okay, if he's going to be there, then why are you asking her to come?
I mean, I think it's on the one hand, it seems like they have on the surface an adversarial relationship, but at like deep down they're friends. So especially when you're young, you have those like relationships where you're like mean to each other, and then but you still hang out.
Mhm.
And then I could see Pacey not wanting to go to a party alone, but then why didn't he just contact Dawson? Or maybe he just kind of wants to stir the pot and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, it's either he's wanting to stir the pot or like that last episode really made him take pity on Joey.
Or he has not yet come to terms with having feelings for Joey because he gets kind of protective.
Yeah, kind of paternal.
Yeah.
But yeah, one thing I wrote down though is when he's like asking her to go to this party, she starts listing off a bunch of things she has to do at the job. And one of them was like clean out the broken glass in the ice machine. And I was like,
Yeah.
that seems dangerous. That
Yeah,
seems
that's
like,
why yeah. That's a very real thing. That's why you always use the scoop in the ice in the ice container. You always use the scoop. You do not use a glass. You can maybe get away with using a plastic cup if you guys have plastic cups, but scooping ice with anything glass is incredibly dangerous. That's like I think that's in a Final Destination movie.
yeah. So Joey's like, I can't leave. I have all these things to do. And then Bessie overhears this and is just like, just go.
Just go.
Don't care
My
about my business. Just go.
She's just like, you're 15. My spawn is keeping you awake all night. Your life is nothing but strife. Go to the party.
Yeah.
And I just wrote down, good job, Bessie.
Mhm. Yeah, she's cool. So I think we see Dawson getting ready for this party. He's like in his room trying on sweaters on top of sweaters, and he like fitfully pulls off a sweater to reveal a sweater underneath, which I'm like, I guess that's why they have to be baggy because you
Yeah.
have multiple
So many
on.
layers.
And his dad comes in, uh, I guess under the guise of asking about Billy, but I think is also just trying to like spend some time with his kid.
Yeah, and
Um,
be like, so what's going on?
what's going on? Let's talk about something that's not about me and your mom's relationship. But Dawson is complaining that like him and his dad are the nice guys. and, like, that relationships because they're nice guys, relationships, like, are not gonna go their way or something, but his dad has, like, a nice dad moment where he's like, "Well, every relationship's gonna have, like, disappointments, insecurity, pain."
Yeah, and it was interesting because that was like such a turn. It's like, I mean, it's how it's so much easier to give reasonable advice when the problem is someone else's. And it reminds me of like sometimes I need to remind myself that like an individual moment of disappointment or pain is not representative of like the entire endeavor. Like it helps to remind people that like no, no, no. Even if everything goes great, there will be moments when this is awful.
Yeah.
And it just kind of
Yeah, I if
reframes.
I feel slightly neglected by a friend, I'm like, "Well, maybe I shouldn't be their friend. Maybe I'm being, like, taken advantage of or I'm too needy." And it's like, I could talk to them, but no, I'm just gonna start questioning if I should just cut them out of my life.
Yeah, let's push back against that instinct because you and I know where it comes from.
But yeah, his dad says another thing that's like, "Anyone who's never been hurt is very lucky or very lonely."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "I'm being called out."
Yeah, it was like, "Excuse me, Mitch." Yeah, I guess yeah, that is you do need to be reminded of that though, that like that is the cost.
Yeah, and then Dawson just kinda asks his dad for advice of like, "So what do we do?" And his dad's like, "Honestly, don't know."
Don't know. I mean, you could start by not like casting yourself as the nice guy in every situation.
Yeah.
That's not really appealing to anyone, and it seems like it makes you hate yourself, so like maybe don't do that.
Yeah. So I think our first doc appearance, on this episode, is Billy and Jen that are near, like, a more busy dock where there's, like, a bridge,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's a new dock,
Yeah, it's like a
and
public doc.
and it's daytime. Billy's giving her a hard time, like, "You're gonna leave me for a guy with an ET doll on his bed?" And she's like, "It's a collector's item."
Yeah.
It's like, "It's a doll."
But yeah, he's just like ragging on her, not giving any real reason for them to be together.
Yeah. Basically says, "I want you to leave." Like, she said it so many
Yeah.
times. Yeah, he makes the deal of, like, "I'll leave." Like, just one last goodbye kiss.
And it's just like, no, you just don't. You don't have to do any of this, Jen. Stop appeasing him. Appeasement doesn't work.
Yeah, but she relents, but then, like, gives him the most quick, unsatisfying goodbye kiss.
Yeah, she's just like, great, cool, fulfilled my end of the bargain.
Yeah.
Which, like, still isn't a good idea, but, like, go, girl. You have to just go.
Mhm.
Such a bummer. It's like, why are you just tell a man no.
Then, we get to hear Blink-182. I don't remember the name of the song. I meant to look it up, but I forgot. It's on that they're like I think it's their first album or their first notable one that has, like, a bull on the album cover.
Yeah, I think the song's called Damn It.
Oh, yes. Yes, 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 you are correct.
Yeah.
And I'm
It's
like, "This had to be in the show originally because there's no way they would've, like, gotten
yeah, this
Blink-182 to do this after."
yeah, there's no way that this was like the replacement song. And like, yeah, it's the great line of like, well, I guess this is growing up. So yeah, and they're on a beach. It's like a daytime beach party.
Yep, and Joey is acting like she begrudgingly came to the party and is just being surly. Then Pacey, like, runs off to, I guess, go hit on some girl or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, Dawson sees her, comes on over to her. They start like doing their banter, making fun of like football and cheerleader stereotypes. Like, look at us coming to this high school party.
Yeah, we're so above this whole thing.
And Dawson's like, hey, like, maybe we'll get one drink and go to the video store. To which, like, yeah, he goes and gets a drink for them. And Joey is just so smiley. Like,
Yeah.
girl, it's your hormones.
Yeah, it's so tough because it's like, this isn't gonna be a simple solution, but for that moment, Joey is so happy.
She's like, "He's not doing well with his girlfriend, and he's paying more attention to me."
Yeah. And then Dawson runs into Jen. Or Jen
Yeah.
finds Dawson at the party.
Yeah. And it's like, "Hey, I'm sorry about everything. Let's go talk about stuff." And Dawson's like, "Yeah, I don't remember what I was doing at all.
Yeah.
Let's go talk."
Yep. Which leaves Joey sitting there waiting for a drink that's never gonna come until a
Until
a
this
25-year-old with a blonde beard.
and blonde long hair. I was like, Malfoy's dad looking douche.
Yeah, yeah, like a Lucius Malfoy the early years.
I used to be strongly against men with long hair. I just found it like icky. But I've come around and it works on some guys, but this guy, no.
It looked healthy and clean, but
It
it still
looked
didn't work for him.
Yeah, it looked beautiful, but he looked creepy.
Yeah, it was not a good thing. And this guy who's, offers her a drink, and when she's like, "Oh no, my friend's coming back," and like he like asks more and he's like, "Oh, you mean that guy walking down on the beach with the cute blonde?"
And she's like, "Yeah, actually I will take that drink." Which I'm like, "No, never take a drink from a guy you don't know."
Yeah, I was like, I don't think that's the direction the story's going, but it's not going anywhere good. And like from the first sip, you're like, "Oh, Joey's gonna get drunk."
Yeah. Yeah. And Jen's like, "I got rid of my ex-boyfriend." Billy just shows up.
Yeah, and he's like, "That kiss, you can't tell me that kiss didn't mean more."
He was like, "I used that whole begging just to get something against you to make your boyfriend mad."
Yeah, yep.
We quickly go back to Joey and she's just already drunk. I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, I mean, she's sleep deprived. If she came straight from waitressing, she probably hasn't had a meal in several hours.
Yeah, and she's like 15 or 16, so her
Gulping.
tolerance is non-existent.
Yeah. And then, I could also see being that young and maybe just leaning into the feeling.
Mhm.
But yeah, she goes hard.
Yeah, I am like, maybe I don't think this was her intention, but I feel like I don't wanna just say it's women that do this, but I guess I've mostly experienced it with women where, they'll be really self-destructive in front of a guy that they want attention from in the hopes that, like, the guy will wanna be the knight in shining armor and, like, save her.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure that's.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
it's her intent, but I'm like, it could have gone that way.
Yeah. Whatever her intent was, the guys. I forget. I mean, first, they're just
First,
kissing.
Pacey comes and is like, "Hey, maybe don't keep drinking whatever you're drinking."
Yeah.
And she's like, "You're the best."
She's like, yeah, clearly she's pretty happy drunk.
Yeah, and the blonde guy comes over and is like, "Hey, I'm hitting on this lady."
Yeah.
And then we go back to Jen having 2 boys fighting over her like pretty much it always is for her.
Yeah, it just seems like the story of her life.
And Billy is like telling Dawson, "Well, like I we had a connection long before you even knew her." And then Dawson says the thing, "You and everybody else."
Yeah,
And I'm like, "She's right here. You seem to
she's
forget she's right there."
yeah, and it was, she's mad, and then as she should be, and it's just like, why are we all doing this? Everyone involved in this is miserable. And is it Billy who's like, is it him or me, or was it Dawson who finally
I
throws
don't
down the?
remember.
And
It sounds
she's
like could come from either of them.
yeah, and then Jen's just like, I'm the third wheel here. I'm leaving. And Billy just looks like, well, at least I ruined something.
And Dawson's like, "Look what you did, and I had no involvement."
Yep. Look at what you did by making me say that thing in front of her.
And then quickly Joey starts kind of getting frisky with blonde guy. And Pacey cuts in and says, "Say goodbye to serial rapist man."
Yeah.
It's like probably be mad. I think any man would be mad if you call him that.
Yeah, which, like, nice of a male friend to be aware that that is a thing women need to be aware of. maybe coming in a little, I don't know. He just, Pacey, for whatever reason, whether it's that he likes her or they're actually friends or whatever, or he's just looking for trouble, is just, he steps up.
Yeah, he's not being subtle about it. He's not trying to subtly diffuse the situation. He's like, "I'm gonna escalate this so I can punch you."
Yeah, yeah. Does Pacey throw the first punch?
I think the guy pushes him and then Pacey throws a punch.
Yeah, that's usually the escalation.
Yeah, so he's not totally, like, at fault because the other guy also kinda started it.
Hmm.
So the guy goes down after he gets punched, and then
Yeah, it seems like Pacey knocks him out cold.
yeah, I guess. And I'm like, "I guess we're not gonna have any charges pressed here." No one seems to be worried. But with no one holding Joey up, Joey also falls down.
Yeah, just collapses.
And then Dawson notices and runs over, and Joey's like, "You saved me."
Pacey's just like, come on.
Come on, my fist is the one that's hurting.
Yeah,
So they're like, "I guess we'll take her home."
yeah,
And so they're kinda carrying her home, and, Dawson, like, takes her to the couch while Pacey's trying to keep the baby quiet, so, her sister doesn't come out to realize that she's totally wasted.
yeah, yeah. And Pacey's, I think, just telling the story of the English patient to the
Yes,
baby.
and it works.
Yeah, and that's when passed out Joey is like having the waitressing nightmares, like tartar sauce, table 6.
Yeah, and Dawson's, like, having a conversation with her finally having a conversation with her that he probably should have to her when she's, like, conscious,
Yeah,
about, like, "Things are just so crazy with our relationship right now," and, um, I don't really know how it ends, like, what he says, but then she just kinda comes to and kisses him and then passes back out again. And he's like,
yeah,
"Okay." And I'm like, "Buddy, I guess you can't be mad that Jen kissed her boyfriend now."
yeah. I was like, this could go in any number of directions. And I was like, well, what's Dawson gonna do about this? Because it's sort of like that happens. She passes back out again, and then he and Pacey kind of sneak out.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll just tie up the loose end of Mitch and Gale. They kinda make up, which I think was kind of not orchestrated, but caused by, like, Mitch's discussion with Dawson and is like, "Maybe I should kind of lead by example, or maybe I should try too."
Yeah, take my own advice.
Yeah,
And the way
and
they,
he does say, like, he'll do whatever he has to do. We'll see. I
yeah, we'll
don't
see.
Yeah, but he is like, "Let's try dancing.
Yeah,
Let's go
something
back to our
simple.
roots."
And he puts on this like really sad song.
And, Gail tries to kiss him during it, and he's like, "Yeah, let's just do one thing at a time."
And I was like, okay, good boundary, Mitch. That's like I was like, oh my god, he's engaging. He's actually doing something that might be productive in rebuilding the relationship. But I also was like, I think it's completely reasonable to say, hey, I'm not ready for that. I'm still too hurt for that. I felt like there was a brief moment of like, oh, Mitch got his brain back.
Mhm. So, then we go back to the boys who are rowing across the creek,
Hmm.
and Dawson tells Pacey that she kissed him and was, like, brushing it off, like, "Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, she just confused me for Brad Pitt," or, "Oh, it didn't mean anything."
yeah.
And Pacey is just like, "Okay,
He,
um"
he calls it. He calls him on it. He's just like, she likes you, and I just my note is just someone says it.
And Dawson just will not listen. He's like, "Hey, I know I have this otherworldly, like, language with her where I don't have to speak words and she knows what I think and she totally gets me, but that's not love. That's
Yeah, what I have with Jen is love. That feeling of being new, of like
yeah,
mystery,
exciting."
and it's like you, you have infatuation.
Yeah, he doesn't have a concept of what, like, romantic love is yet.
Yeah, he just knows he feels something.
Mhm. Poor Pacey.
Yeah. Poor Pacey having to be the reasonable one.
Dawson comes back to see, that Billy is packing up his things and is gonna leave.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he says, like, "Oh, I guess she's yours now. She doesn't wanna be with me."
Yeah, she's like, she's not as confused as she looks or whatever. And so Dawson's like, I've won!
Yeah.
Yay!
Good things for me. So he,
Mm-hmm.
like, goes and sees her at the dock
Yeah.
and is like, "Now is my time to apologize and smooth things over, and we can go back to how we were."
Yep.
But as he kind of, like, wraps his arms around her, she pulls away
Mm-hmm.
and starts going into a long thing about how, like, she's never been on her own and she's always just been, a stupid girl who escapes into a relationship. Before we go further, I will say, I think we've had the discussion of, like, when we've known women and you're like, "Is he really better than being alone?"
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's hard for me to wrap my head around, not that my way of life is perfect, but it is hard to wrap my head around people who would just be with someone just because it's someone. And it was like, this person does nothing but make you crazy and miserable.
But this I think this ties back into our, hyper independence.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Which has its own pitfalls.
Mhm.
And and I don't know. I'm curious, is this actually Jen's problem, or like I don't know her whole life history, or is it just, does she have some sense that she needs to get out of whatever this dramatic dynamic is, and like this is her way of explaining it, like these are the words she has for like, I need this roller coaster to stop.
Mhm.
But for however she puts it, she's essentially saying like, I need to be single.
Yeah. Yeah, and Dawson's like, "What?"
What do you mean?
Oh, she also says, like, "I've never been at home on a Saturday, and I've never gone to a dance alone, and I'm pretty, and I'm
Lucky.
lucky." And I was like, "Okay, we get it. We
Yeah.
get it. You
Okay.
don't need to brag."
Oh, but the thing I was realizing, I think, in that scene was just like, Jen has no actual sense of self.
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
has
no.
no, like, outside of being the desirable new girl, like, who is she? Like, we don't know that as an audience, but like, she should know.
Mhm. But yeah, she says, like, for someone who seems to be lucky, I am way too unhappy."
Yeah. And that is a skill and a valuable thing to be able to recognize that when you are receiving something that society or culture is telling you should make you happy, being able to recognize that it's not making you happy and then being able to remove yourself from that is a skill that is tough to learn but is important to learn.
Yeah, and she really does try to soften the blow, she's like, "Oh, I envy you, like, I envy how everything is so new for you," and
Magical and optimistic.
yeah.
And she's like, and I'll probably come crawling back to you.
Yeah, no, she's like, you know what? I'm probably making a mistake, but it's a mistake I need to make." And yeah, he tries to beg her for a little bit. "No, you're just hormonal." Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
"No, you're not thinking straight. Go to bed and you'll feel different tomorrow." And she's like, "I'm not a toddler."
Yeah. And when that like begging and bargaining doesn't work, then he gets spiteful.
Yeah. He's like, "Yeah, no, maybe I should go find someone that's not you."
Yeah.
And then they they do the classic thing where he looks back as he's, like, walking away, but she's not looking, but then he walks away and she looks back.
And I remember his parting line is something like, yeah, I should find someone else who's not like you, blah 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 blah, someone who can do a healthy, committed relationship. I was like, buddy, you are 16. You, that's no, at 16, I don't think a healthy, committed relationship is really the objective, unless that just seems like an awful lot to put on a 16-year-old
Yeah.
relationship. And it's like, and it also is a way of him positioning himself as being so mature. And it's like, buddy, come on. You have a fit every time a boy talks to her.
Yeah. Which, by the way, we never got to see Cliff at the party, did we?
I don't know. There were a lot of scenes like kind of all over the party. We saw some people in Letterman jackets. There was at least one man that I saw and I was like, that man is 40 if he's a day. And he showed up at a couple times and I was like, is that someone's dad? Like that is clearly they could have done without this one other extra.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't get Cliff back again in this episode, I think.
hmm They're like, we just need someone to knock Dawson down a peg, and we
Yeah.
still don't have enough characters to do that.
Yeah. And so this is just we needed someone to just destabilize Dawson that little bit more.
hmm
And someone to give them a reason to go to the party.
Yeah, so I guess that's it.
That's episode 8.
Yep.
That leads us to the question.
Yeah, it does.
Whose creek is it?
Um,
I think I have an idea. Do you know?
I have a couple of ideas. I think I know my answer.
Okay, go ahead.
I want you to go first.
Okay. I wasn't really sure where to go with this, but and maybe it's just the recency. This sort of felt like Jen's creek to me, which is kind of strange because she is so passive through most of the episode. But it sort of feels like I don't know. I feel like we've had a lot of false starts with her like finally making decisions. But maybe it's just because it was her ex-boyfriend that was causing all this and it was her constant appeasement that was letting it escalate. But she sort of felt, for me at least, she felt like sort of the center of the hurricane, and then that's what's sweeping everyone else up.
Darn it, don't talk me into things.
What's your answer? Talk me into it.
Well, it's either Jen or this might be left field, but I feel like Pacey.
Huh.
Just because, like, and maybe it's just my bar for him is so low.
But
It's just like he's the only one who's seeing things as they are.
yeah.
The only one who I don't know if he's standing up for himself, but he's not trying to appease other people. He's not trying to he's sticking to his truth. And he's
Yeah.
being the decent person here.
Yeah. It's sort of like one of my first favorite podcasts, You Are Good, is a movie podcast, but it started out being about specifically about dads, and they always ask like who's the daddy of the movie, however you interpret that. And like Pacey is the daddy of this episode in the way that he's like taking care of things, he's like calling things out.
Mhm.
Oh, I definitely see where you're coming from.
Yeah, like I understand seeing it as Jen's Creek because it is all circulating around her.
Hmm.
I think it's just I am so frustrated with her in this
Yes.
episode. Like at the end, I am like, good girl. You
Yeah.
did it.
You did something.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't fix everything, but at least you told these men to leave you alone for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe my bar for Pacey's so low. It's like, actually, he's being like a normal person.
Yeah. I think we're just sort of taking the question in two different directions.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of
I'm
like
I'm going of who's daddy.
yeah. I'm going like sort of like who is the upstream source, and then you're sort of taking on who is the active person making change.
Yeah, like who's going in the right direction, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. And bizarrely it's Pacey.
I could go either way, either sticking to my guns or just agreeing with you.
Yeah. I don't think we have to agree. I think we can live with our opinions.
I just looked at the name of the next episode, which is episode 9 called Road Trip, which
Oh.
reminds me what it's about. And some people are gonna, I don't say they make 180s, but just we're all over the place with how people are being.
Okay. Noted. I'll prepare myself for episode 9. Any other closing thoughts, closing comments on episode 8?
Not really, other than I'm happy with Jen's choice, and they really were like, we're not even gonna get through a whole season with them being together, because it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, 20 episodes or something a season, and they're like,
Yeah.
episode 8, that's enough.
Yeah.
They need a break.
I need Jen to get a hobby. I really need Jen to get a hobby.
Mhm. We'll see how it progresses with, like, in the background, it was just, like, Joey dealing with having a basically her own baby. I mean, I know Bessie's trying her best, but it is like Odie's mysteriously absent,
Mm-hmm.
um, because they don't want to pay him, I guess, and it's like, it's just the 2 of us
Yeah.
raising a child, and neither of us knows how to do that, and we have no familial support.
Yeah. Listeners, if you'd like, you can follow us on TikTok or Instagram at Whose Creek Is It? And subscribe so you get episodes from us.
Also, Happy New Year,
Oh,
because
yeah.
we're recording this on New Year's Day, so
Yeah, Happy New Year. We made it.
we made it.
We made it to this.